Hi VC, I'm back to do another post. I've been absent there for about 10 days or so. I was just busy doing some work, and it was Paddy's weekend last week, and I took the kids off to Dublin to the zoo and to see their grandparents, and you know the usual. But what's playing in the background is Dereck Vaughan. That's Derek Higgins. He is sixth or seventh album. Dereck is one of the pillar members of the VC. Um, I'm sure everyone is familiar with his stuff. This is the first of his releases that I have bought on vinyl. It's called Flyover. If I have time, I'm going to do a review of this, but I have quite a stack of stuff to go through because I haven't posted a video in quite some time. And last weekend I had the opportunity to go to quite a large fair that was held in Dublin. It's kind of held 3 times a year. There's about 45 sellers at it, and I bought some stuff. I didn't spend too long there, but I kind of knew exactly what I wanted to hit, and there's 2 sellers in particular that I always frequent. But what I bought is I bought this stack of stuff there, and I bought other items as well outside of the fair, which I'll get to in a second. I bought those on eBay and on Discogs. And I also bought some stuff from a seller in the UK that I teamed up with Dark Dove, VC member Dark Dove, to buy. We affectionately called it the haul, but it wasn't really a haul in quantitative terms. We only bought 4 each, but in qualitative terms, the 4 that I bought and the 4 that Dave bought were spectacular and represent serious value for money. I'll go through them now in a second. So if I have time, I'll flick onto Dereck's one and give a review on it. But it's playing there in the background, and anyone who doesn't have it, whether you're within the VC or without the VC, I'm urging you to check it out and support Dereck. And I will hopefully do a review on it at the end of this video. If not, I will do it at the start of the next video. So congratulations, Dereck. It's very different from what I'm normally used to hearing. It's very much outside my comfort zone, and but I am very happy with it, so I'll give a proper review on it at the end of this, or else at the start of the next video. Okay, so on to the haul. Okay, well, Dave, Dark Dove, and myself, we bought some stuff from a UK seller that I basically sourced, and I got the list and I handed it out to Dave and to 1 or 2 others in the VC. But to my knowledge, Dave and myself are the only ones that actually went ahead and bought stuff off him. They took some time in coming to us, mind you. He was a bit lazy in sending the stuff out, but when we got it, we were very happy with it. I think he very conservatively graded these items. They all come out really, really well. You know, the first one I got is basically Roy Harper's second album, Come Out Fighting Genghis Smith. It's his first for a major label. It's on CBS. It comes on. This is the original issue with the original cover. It comes with a different one as well, with an umbilical cord and that, a more provocative image, let's say. But this one is a really good album. I wasn't too familiar with it. I'm more familiar with his middle and later periods, but I'm very, very impressed with this. It's quite Eastern sounding in parts. Some of those tracks, for instance, Highgate, and that is really very Eastern sounding. There's a succession of Eastern sounding tracks on this. Cover notes by Bert Jansch, who I didn't know until I read the cover notes here that they were mates. But extremely worthy album. Very, very impressed with it. Not as good as the one that followed it, Folk Jacopus, but I'm very impressed with it, I must say. The pressing is perfect. It's a first issue on CBS. It came out really, really good. The seller had graded it very good, but it's definitely, to my ears anyway, and visually as well, it is definitely a very strong near mint minus. Okay, moving on. This one is very much outside my comfort zone as well. Big props to LJ, this biosite. I watched some LJ's videos, and I saw his emphasis and slant on metal, and it's something that I'm not familiar with at all. And I decided I would splurge out and have a, look for some metal albums to buy. And a big shout out to Brandon, Mr. Hall of Fame as well. Brandon was the first person in the VC whose videos I started watching about 2 years ago, and I know he's a bit of a metalhead as well. But I was drawn to this one in particular because of the striking art cover on it. It's a Welsh crew called Budgie, and the album is called Squawk. I understand it's their second album, featuring beautiful, evocative artwork by Roger Dean, who went on to become the artist in-house in residence for it was a Vertigo, I think. Yeah, Vertigo. I know he did cover work for Ramesses and some of those seminal albums that were released on that label. Okay, so they're a trio, kind of like Cream, you know, lead guitarist, drummer, and the bass. Very, very impressed with this. Actually, it is something that I'm not very familiar with. It's kind of blues rock, stroke heavy metal. There are some acoustic numbers, Rolling Home Again and Make Me Happier, 2 acoustic numbers. The track Drugstore Woman and Hot as a Doctor's Armpit remind me very much of Led Zeppelin, but the first track is just phenomenal. It's called Whiskey River. It's really, really, really good. Kind of a plodding bass, kind of strangulated vocals, extremely good. It struck me. I listened to it 4 times in a row, I think. Certainly 3 times in a row. And the last track is a bit of a freak out as well, called Stranded. But an extremely surprising album for me. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it turned out to be. And I bought this. This is part of the haul as well. It's the second one I got for the haul. And I got this for a very good price. They go for about 4 times what I paid for this. So I was very impressed with it. Okay, the third one is definitely very much squarely in my comfort zone. It's a folk album by Bert, Jansch and John Renbourn. They had played together a few times. They each supported each other on previous albums, and of course they were both in Pentangle together as well. But this is their first jointly titled album, jointly credited album. It's called Bert and John. It's on the Transatlantic label. Extremely good as well. This is the first pressing. The sleeve is kind of, I suppose, good plus or very good minus, but the vinyl is in excellent condition as well. There's actually Charles Mingus track on here, Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. A very short album actually, maybe about 34 minutes long, but lovely crafted kind of acoustic blues, folk blues really, with significant jazz leanings in it as well. But I'm sure everyone is familiar with that album, but extremely good, and I was delighted to get it in very good condition. And the fourth and final one that I got is Juicy Lucy. Now, I searched, it's a Vertigo Swirl. It's not the first issue, it's the year of release, but it's the second issue, and this is the famous sleeve with the kind of, I don't know what you call her, but some sort of, I don't know, I think she was a dancer or something. I've heard of her name before, but I just can't recall. But you know, it's of its time. It's a certain kind of blues rock that was very prevalent in the early 1970s. But this one is, even though it's not the first issue, it is the year of release, but it's the one with, it is a big Vertigo Swirl, and I got this for a phenomenal price. I've only listened to it once. It's not bad. I prefer the Budgie album to it, but I will definitely be giving this another spin. It features cover versions of Bo Diddley track Who Do You Love. There's a Buddy Miles track. There's a Chuck Berry track on it. But there's one immense song at the end of it. I think it's it's this one, Are You Satisfied, which is fantastic. Really, really strong track. So I am impressed with it. So that basically is the fourth and final one that I got in the haul. As I said, you know, it was a bit of an overstatement for us to be calling it the haul, but like I got 4 lovely original pressings that are all highly collectible, and very impressed with what I got on them. Okay, moving on to the fair. When I was in Dublin last weekend, this is what I got from the fair. There was a seller there that was selling 3 for €10, and I couldn't believe it. I saw this one kind of very early, and I saw the Vertigo label. Now I know the cover's a bit tattered here, but I said, Jesus, this could be an original Vertigo, because I know that Seasons kind of Magna Carta produced this album called Seasons on the Vertigo Swirl. So I checked it out, opened it up, and bang, there you go, Vertigo Swirl large. I have checked this one out, and this is actually an original first issue. I believe, yeah, this is an original first one. It's it's not really to my taste, even though it is kind of folky, which would be very much what I was raised on. It's not that great to my ears. It's to use a phrase that Carm introduced me to, it's very cloying. Hi Carm, I told you I'd get around to using that phrase at some stage, but it is almost too sickly sweet, this album, and it's not for me, and I'm quite adamant about that. But I am going to hold on to it because it is a Vertigo Swirl. I got it for €3.33, which is effectively, God, I don't know, maybe $4 maybe. It's in very good condition, not very good plus or anything like that, but just barely very good condition. The cover, unfortunately, is shot, and it's a victim of some water damage as well. So, unfortunately, and that would account for the price. But even at the price I paid for it, I think it represents tremendous value. Okay, and then more or less one or two later in the pile, I came across this one, Uriah Heep, Salisbury, and again I know that this was originally on Vertigo Swirl. I know that some copies of it were on the bronze label, so I opened it up and I said, "Jesus, this is hardly another Vertigo Swirl." But what did you think? Bang, another one. So I just grabbed it straight away. Again, the sleeve is not in perfect condition, but the vinyl is very good again. I have played this one through, and like the Magna Carta one, it is definitely not to my taste. It's not at all what I listen to, or what I there's a million other albums that I prefer to listen to over this one. So I am going to hold on to it purely because it's Vertigo Swirl. But again, the lesser I say about this one, the better. Okay, then moving back firmly into my comfort zone, John McLaughlin. Hi Jonas, as I've said before, you were my entry point into John McLaughlin, and this one's called Electric Guitarist. There's quite a cast on this, and I got this as part of the 3 for 10, so like this again was €3.33, like Jack DeJohnette is on this, Santana, Stanley Clarke, Chick Corea, Jack Bruce, Billy Cobham, Jerry Goodman from Vishnu, and David Sanborn. So there's an incredible cast on this one. I haven't listened to it yet, but that's going to change very, very, very shortly. So again, like €3.33, you know. Okay, and then I saw, in the next pile, I saw this one, and I had just bought some lovely Charles Lloyd stuff from Blake Wirtz DB. I came across this one. It's a Blue Note one. Again, €3.33. You know, I wasn't going to say no to that one. Paul Danielson is on this, and a singer called Bobby McFerrin guests on one track. It's a later Blue Note. It's kind of early 1980s, I think. So I picked that one up. Then right next to it, I saw this one, Dollar Brand, Children of Africa on Enya, and couldn't believe it. Checked out the vinyl. It looked mint, looked unplayed. So I wasn't going to say no to that one either. So I was on a real run at this stage. I just couldn't get over it. And next one then, another Jonas-inspired purchase, Bo Hansen, a magician's hat featuring a Gandalf-like character in some sort of a cottagey yoke in the middle of Sweden, no doubt. I already had one of his albums, the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, so I was very familiar with his work, and I was familiar with this one too, because I had it in my wants list, but I didn't expect to get it for the low price that I got it for. This was recorded, I believe, at the sessions for Lord of the Rings, but that's not a conclusive statement. I believe that it has been. And it's on the famous Charisma label. Bobo Steenson plays piano on one or two tracks as well. He didn't play on the subsequent albums, Attic Thought or whatever it's called. He didn't play on that one, but he played certainly on this particular album. And then I saw this one, Marvin Gaye, I Want You on Tamla Motown. And Big Star Freddie Big Star 1000 has just shown some Marvin Gaye stuff, and I was telling him about this one. I don't think he has this one. He's certainly aware of it, but I have a copy of this one that I've seen before, or on CD, but not on vinyl. So for €3.33, I wasn't going to say no to leaving that one behind either. Okay, this one then was a bit more. This was about €7. John Renbourn, back to Johnny. This is the ninth John Renbourn album that I have. This is his debut on Transatlantic. Again, Bert Jansch features in this. He's an uncredited role, I believe, on it, and it's on that lovely, colourful Transatlantic label. Sorry, lads, this video is already at 15 minutes, but I hope to wrap it up within 20 because I don't want you guys to be lingering around. Again, it's that lovely, intricate guitar playing that John is famous for, and a couple of blues standard tracks as well. But I was very familiar with this one, and I got it for a very good price at the fair as well. Okay, this is the one that cost me the most money, and again, major shout out to Biosite 1, LJ, and also to Brandon Hall of Fame. I had to represent with metal. I was looking for this one for a while. Kind of last month I've been looking for it. Again, unfortunately, it has got some water damage. This is also from the year of issue. This one cost me, I think it was €30, which is like maybe $25. But it's in absolutely perfect condition. The vinyl is. I know the cover is a bit kicked, but the vinyl is immaculate. It's got the original polyline sleeve with the big swirl, and it's in near mint minus condition. I've had a good listen to this one. I'm particularly fond of the track, the second track on side 1 called The Wizard. I really enjoy that track. Very, very bluesy. Lovely use of the harmonica in it. So I'm getting to know this one. It certainly isn't stuff that I'm used to hearing. It's a new sound to me, and it's quite bluesy, which surprised me. I expected it to be harder, but some of the tracks are very slow tracks on it, but still heavy, Yeah, that was the most expensive purchase that I made, €30. But I know that I can easily flip this for double the money, and so it was a very safe purchase, Okay, so then I also saw this one, another Bert Jansch one. It's one of his later efforts from the 1970s called LA Turnaround. It's not on Transatlantic. What is it on? I'm not quite sure. But I know that it features kind of a reimagining of Needle of Death, which features on his self-titled second album, which is a gorgeous track. I see that Klaus also plays support on a lot of the tracks on this, and of course he was famous with his work with John Lennon and with other members of the Beatles. He did a lot of work with George Harrison as well. So that's Bert Jansch, LA Turnaround. I must give this a proper spin. I already have it in digital download, but I haven't listened to it on vinyl yet. And the last piece I got from the fair is a lovely, strange one. It's kind of a folk rock one called Emily Jacotny, I think. It's by a French crew called Jansch. Now, it's on Philips. It's the first pressing. I was asking Fred Big Star about this one about 3 months ago, because at the fair last... God, when was it? Last, I suppose, November, I saw it, and I was asking him about it, and he said, yeah, that it was very good, So, I pulled the trigger on it. I haven't listened to it yet, but I got it for €10, and, I believe that's a very good price. So, I'll post a review on this later on, but fantastic looking album, isn't it? Really, really good. So I'm looking forward to giving that one a spin. So that was the last item that I bought at the fair. So it was kind of a productive day for me. I only hit 2 sellers. I got Jansch, the Bert Jansch, and the Sabbath from one collector, or one seller rather, and all the other items, except for this John Renbourn one, were all in the 3 for €10 sale. So I got out of there with spending not too much money, and to be honest, I'm very happy with what I picked up. Okay, moving on then. These are internet purchases. The Earl of Suave was on to me to say that he had just bought this one, Cyborg, and it awoke my curiosity in Krautrock. I hadn't listened to it in a couple of months, and I have a lot of Klaus Schulze stuff, but I didn't have this one. So I checked it again. I streamed it online and said, Jesus, I must get that one. So I did look around to see what was out there. I saw this one, which had just been reduced by Seller and Discogs because there was peeling laminate damage and a bit of a ripped, kind of a quarter inch of a ripping there. It's an original pressing on Cosmic Courier, and I got it for, I think it was €28. It's a double album, his second one, and it's the original German pressing, obviously. So again, I was very happy to pick it up for that price. I know that it goes for a hell of a lot more, and the vinyl, I've had a listen to it. The vinyl is in fantastic nick altogether. I got it from a German seller, and my experience with German sellers is they definitely take care of their vinyl. So it was a very safe purchase. It ended up being just as good as he had graded it. I'm very happy with it. Schulze actually looks very modern there. He looks like he's a guy that you would see around nowadays. His style hasn't aged at all, and but this music is very much an anachronism. It's back in his time. It's not something that could be produced now or that will ever be produced again. It was very much at the experimental edges of electronica, but it is it's a very collectible keepsake, and it's something that I am starting to enjoy again. Very much listening to his stuff. I was away from it for a while, but my interest has definitely been reawakened in his stuff, and I'm going to revisit this one good over the next couple of months. Okay, and the last items I got then was I won an auction on a few jazz pieces that I wanted to pick up for quite an amount of time. This one is it's a first edition US pressing of Miles Davis' Field the Kilimanjaro album, featuring his wife Betty Davis on the cover. There's actually a track dedicated to her as well. Yeah, Mademoiselle Mabry, which may have been, I imagine, her maiden name. Featuring Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, etc. An extremely strong album, actually one of his best. I will state that, to my ears anyway, definitely one of his best. I was very familiar with this album. It was on my want list for a long time, but I was very surprised to pick this one up for about $5 in an eBay auction. I just couldn't believe it. My reserve price was going higher, but I picked it up for a very good price. Okay, from the same seller I also got this one, Donald Byrd, Electric Byrd. Is kind of one of his efforts from the early 1970s. It's before he did his work with the Mazel brothers. Extremely good as well, very languid. I was listening to it this morning, very languid style here, featuring, there's 4 tracks in it. They're all, actually no, 3 of them are penned by him. One is penned by Ayrton Moreira, who plays percussion, the Brazilian percussionist who plays on this album, but extremely good. Now, not as funky, as danceable as his later stuff. The stuff that he produced with the Mazel brothers is obviously infamous, and went on to be heavily and extensively sampled by a whole plethora of hip hop acts, including the Beatnuts, who were playing in the background. One of my favourites. They liberally sampled a fair amount of Donald Byrd's work, and of course he featured on the album with Guru Jazzmatazz as well. He might actually featured in both volumes 1 and 2, but I was looking for his stuff for a long time. It's very rare here, and I was delighted to win that one as well in the same auction. The third piece that I picked up from the auction is Anthony Braxton. It's a double album. It's still sealed, and I cannot wait to crack it open. I'm going to crack it open tonight. It's called Alto Saxophone Improvisations 1979, and it's an album of recordings that he made when he toured Europe and America in, obviously, 1979. Now, I have some of his stuff already. He did some work with Gunter Hempel, which I'll show at a later stage, so I was very familiar with his work. I got this for $4 new. I don't know what happened. Everyone must have been asleep there 2 weeks ago on eBay, because I couldn't believe to get this one now. Okay, and the last piece I got off the same seller, this will be no surprise to anyone who's familiar with my channel, Jazz Crusaders, who went on to become the Crusaders. My entry point to jazz and to funk. I'm a huge fan of theirs. I know that they get a bit of negative praise by some people a bit of negativity from some people in the VC. I don't rightly understand why. I think it's severely misplaced, and I think they're an extremely worthy outfit. I know they kind of sold out towards the end of their career, but I'm a big fan of theirs, and I have a strong sentimental attachment to their music. Actually, I never realised how tall Wilton Felder was. He looks to be about 6'6" there. And what this is that it's an album of live tracks recorded at two festivals in 1966. It's on the Pacific Jazz label. No, I haven't listened to this one either, but there's 4 tracks in it, including Young Rabbits, which came from an album of the same name. Like Talk That Talk, I have that one, that actually album there, which is I think it might be a compilation. The Thing and Chili Con Soul, I have both of those and digital download, and Tough Talk as well. So I have an amount of their stuff, and I'm going to continue looking for 1 or 2 more of their pieces. But I'm a big fan of the Jazz Crusaders, no doubt. And the last piece I'd like to show is a 7-inch that I got that I've been looking for damn ages. It's the first single released by Public Image Limited. It's called self-titled track called Public Image, which is basically his diatribe about how he felt the Sex Pistols became more infamous than perhaps he would have liked. And this one, what's the feature about this one and what's unique about it is that it comes in almost a mock tabloid newspaper. It is a newspaper paper, right? But it takes the format of a spoof reading. So you got the lyrics of Public Image here. The B-side is called Cowboy Song, and you've got the lyrics to that, and it's a highly lyrical track. The lyrics just go clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. So an extremely collectible, but that's not the reason why I bought it. But it is a very collectible piece of work. This one, it's on Virgin, obviously. And it featured on their debut eponymous album, just self-titled Public Image. So that's that. So I was very, very happy to get this. I was looking for it for a long time, and that kind of is the last piece that I was looking for to close off my Public Image collection. There isn't much else that they produced that I have got significant interest in, but that single certainly I was mad looking for, and that's it. So lads, I've overstayed my welcome yet again. Sorry about that, and I didn't get around to do a review of Dereck, but I will start off the next video that I'll do in the next couple of days with an overdue review on this album. The only thing that I will say about it is that out of 10, I'd be giving it a 90.